Jubilees 1. And it came to pass in the first year of the exodus of the children of Yashara'el out of Mitzrayim, in the 3rd month, on the 16th day of the month, that Elohim spoke to Moshe, saying, Come up to me on the mount, and I will give you 2 sapphire stones of the Torah and of the commandment, which I have written, that you may teach them. And Moshe went up into the mount of Elohim, and the glory of Yahuwah abode on Mount Sinai, and the cloud overshadowed it 6 days. And he called to Moshe on the 7th day out of the midst of the cloud, and the appearance of the glory of Yahuwah was like a flaming fire on the top of the mount. And Moshe was on the mount 40 days and 40 nights, and Elohim taught him the earlier and the later history of the division of all the days of the Torah and of the testimony. And he said, Incline your heart to every word which I shall speak to you on this mount, and write them in a sefer, in order that their generations may see how I have not forsaken them for all the evil which they have wrought in transgressing the covenant which I establish between me and you for their generations this day on Mount Sinai. And thus it will come to pass, when all these things come upon them, that they will recognize that I am more righteous than they, in all their judgments and in all their actions, and they will recognize that I have been truly with them. And do you write for yourself all these words which I declare unto you this day, for I know their rebellion and their stiff neck, before I bring them into the land of which I swore to their fathers, to Abraham, and to Yitzchak, and to Yaakov, saying, Unto your seed will I give a land flowing with milk and honey. And they will eat and be satisfied, and they will turn to strange Elohim, to Elohim which cannot deliver them from aught of their tribulation. And this witness shall be heard for a witness against them. For they will forget all my commandments, even all that I command them, and they will walk after other nations, and after their uncleanness, and after their shame, and will serve their Elohim, and these will prove unto them an offense, and a tribulation, and an affliction, and a snare. And many will perish, and they will be taken captive, and will fall into the hands of the enemy, because they have forsaken my ordinances, and my commandments, and the feasts of my covenant, and my Shabbatot, and my holy place, which I have sanctified for myself in their midst, and my tabernacle, and my sanctuary, which I have sanctified for myself in the midst of the land, that I should set my name upon it, and that it should dwell there. And they will make to themselves high places, and Asherah poles, and graven images, and they will worship each his own graven image, so as to go astray, and they will sacrifice their children to devils, and to all the works of the error of their hearts. And I will send witnesses unto them, that I may witness against them, but they will not hear, and will slay the witnesses also. And they will persecute those who seek the Torah, and they will abrogate and change everything, so as to work evil before my eyes. And I will hide my face from them, and I will deliver them into the hand of the other nations for captivity and for a prey, and for devouring, and I will remove them from the midst of the land, and I will scatter them amongst the other nations. And they will forget all my Torah, and all my commandments, and all my judgments, and will go astray as to new moons, and Shabbatot, and feasts, and jubilees, and ordinances. And after this they will turn to me from amongst the other nations with all their heart, and with all their soul, and with all their strength. And I will gather them from amongst all the other nations, and they will seek me, so that I shall be found of them, when they seek me with all their heart and with all their soul. And I will disclose to them abounding peace with righteousness. And I will remove them the plant of uprightness with all my heart, with all my soul, and they shall be for a blessing and not for a curse. And they shall be the head and not the tail. And I will build my sanctuary in their midst, and I will tabernacle with them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people in truth and righteousness. And I will not forsake them, nor fail them, for I am Yahuwah Elohim. And Moshe fell on his face and prayed and said, O Yahuwah Elohai, do not forsake your people and your inheritance, so that they should wander in the error of their hearts, and do not deliver them into the hands of their enemies, the other nations, lest they should rule over them and cause them to sin against you. Let your mercy, O Yahuwah, be lifted up upon your people, and create in them an upright ruach, and let not the ruach of Belial rule over them, to accuse them before you, and to ensnare them from all the cycles of righteousness, so that they may perish from before your face. But they are your people and your inheritance, which you have delivered with your great power from the hands of the Mitzrayim. Create in them a clean heart and a Ruach HaKodesh, and let them not be ensnared in their sins from henceforth until eternity. And Yahuwah said unto Moshe, I know their contrariness and their thoughts and their stiff-neckedness, and they will not be obedient till they confess their own sin and the sin of their fathers. And after this they will turn to me in all uprightness, and with all their heart, and with all their soul. And I will circumcise the foreskin of their heart, and the foreskin of the heart of their seed. And I will create in them a Ruach HaKodesh, and I will cleanse them, so that they shall not turn away from me from that day unto eternity. And their souls will cleave to me and to all my commandments, and they will fulfill my commandments. And I will be their father, and they shall be my children. And they all shall be called children of the living Elohim. And every angel and every Ruach shall know, yea, they shall know that these are my children, and that I am their father in uprightness and righteousness, and that I love them. And do you write down for yourself all these words which I declare unto you on this mountain, the first and the last, which shall come to pass in all the divisions of the days in the Torah, and in the testimony, and in the weeks and the jubilees, unto eternity, until I descend and tabernacle with them throughout eternity. And he said to the angel of the presence, write for Moshe from the beginning of creation till my sanctuary has been built among them for all eternity. And Yahuwah will appear to the eyes of all, and all shall know that I am the Elohim of Yashara'el, and the father of all the children of Yaakov, and king on Mount Sion for all eternity. And Sion and Yerushalayim shall be holy. And the angel of the presence, who went before the camp of Yashara'el, took the tables of the divisions of the years from the time of the creation of the Torah and of the testimony of the weeks of the Jubilees, according to the individual years, according to all the number of the Jubilees, according to the individual years, from the day of the new creation, when the heavens and the earth shall be renewed, and all their creation according to the powers of the heaven, and according to all the creation of the earth, until the sanctuary of Yahuwah shall be made in Yerushalayim on Mount Sion, and all the luminaries be renewed for healing and for peace and for blessing for all the elect of Yashara'el, and that thus it may be from that day and unto all the days of the earth. Jubilees 2. And the angel of the presence spoke to Moshe according to the word of Yahuwah, saying, write the complete history of the creation, how in 6 days Yahuwah Elohim finished all his works and all that he created, and kept Shabbat on the 7th day, and sanctified it for all ages, and appointed it as a sign for all his works. For on the first day he created the heavens which are above, and the earth and the waters, and all the Ruach HaKohath which serve before him, the angels of the presence, and the angels of sanctification, and the angels of the Ruach of fire, and the angels of the Ruach of the winds, and the angels of the Ruach of the clouds, and of darkness, and of snow, and of hail, and of hoarfrost, and the angels of the voices, and of the thunder, and of the lightning, and the angels of the Ruach HaKohath, of cold and of heat, and of winter, and of spring, and of autumn, and of summer, and of all the Ruach HaKohath of his creatures which are in the heavens and on the earth. He created the abysses and the darkness, evening and night, and the light, and dawn and day, which he has prepared in the knowledge of his heart. And thereupon we saw his works, and praised him, and lauded before him on account of all his works. For 7 great works did he create on the first day. And on the 2nd day he created the firmament in the midst of the waters. And the waters were divided on that day. Half of them went up above, and half of them went down below the firmament that was in the midst over the face of the whole earth. And this was the only work Elohim created on the 2nd day. And on the 3rd day he commanded the waters to pass from off the face of the whole earth into one place, and the dry land to appear. And the waters did so as he commanded them, And they retired from off the face of the earth into one place outside of this firmament, and the dry land appeared. And on that day he created for them all the seas according to their separate gathering places, and all the rivers, and the gatherings of the waters in the mountains, and on all the earth, and all the lakes, and all the dew of the earth, and the seed which is sown, and all sprouting things, and fruit-bearing trees, and trees of the wood, and the Garden of Eden, in Eden and all. These 4 great works Elohim created on the 3rd day. And on the 4th day, he created the sun and the moon and the stars, and set them in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon all the earth, and to rule over the day and the night, and divide the light from the darkness. And Elohim appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth, for days, and for Shabbatoth, and for months, and for feasts, and for years, and for Shabbatot of years, and for jubilees, and for all seasons of the years. And it divides the light from the darkness, and for prosperity, that all things may prosper which shoot and grow on the earth. These 3 kinds he made on the 4th day. And on the 5th day he created great sea monsters in the depths of the waters. For these were the first things of flesh that were created by his hands, the fish and everything that moves in the waters, and everything that flies, the birds and all their kind. And the sun rose above them to prosper them, and above everything that was on the earth, everything that shoots out of the earth, and all fruit-bearing trees, and all flesh. These 3 kinds he created on the 5th day. And on the 6th day he created all the animals of the earth, and all cattle, and everything that moves on the earth. And after all this he created man. A man and a woman created he them, and gave him dominion over all that is upon the earth, and in the seas, and over everything that flies, and over beasts, and over cattle, and over everything that moves on the earth, and over the whole earth. And over all this he gave him dominion. And these 4 kinds he created on the 6th day. And there were altogether 22 kinds. And he finished all his work on the 6th day. All that is in the heavens, and on the earth, and in the seas, and in the abysses, and in the light, and in the darkness, and in everything. And he gave us a great sign, the Shabbat, that we should work 6 days, but guard the Shabbat on the 7th day from all work. And all the angels of the presence, and all the angels of sanctification, these 2 great classes he has bidden us to guard the Shabbat with him in heaven and on earth. And he said unto us, Behold, I will separate unto myself a people from among all the peoples, and these shall guard the Shabbat, and I will sanctify them unto myself as my people, and will bless them, as I have sanctified the Shabbat, and do sanctify it, unto myself. Even so will I bless them, and they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim. And I have chosen the seed of Yaakov from amongst all that I have seen, and have written him down as my firstborn son, and have sanctified him unto myself forever and ever. And I will teach them the Shabbat, that they may guard the Shabbat from all their work. And thus he created therein a sign in accordance with which they should guard the Shabbat with us on the seventh day, to eat and to drink and to bless him who has created all things, as he has blessed and sanctified unto himself a peculiar people above all peoples, and that they should guard the Shabbat together with us. And he caused his commands to ascend as a sweet savor, acceptable before him all the days. There were 22 heads of mankind from Adam to Yaakov, and 22 kinds of work were made until the seventh day. This is blessed and holy, and the former also is blessed and holy, and this one serves with that one for sanctification and blessing. And to this Yaakov and his seed it was granted that they should always be the blessed and Kodashim for the first testimony and Torah, even as he had sanctified and blessed the Shabbat on the seventh day. He created heaven and earth and everything that he created in 6 days. And Elohim made the seventh day holy for all his works. Therefore he commanded on its behalf that whosoever does any work thereon shall die, and that he who defiles it shall surely die. Wherefore do you command the children of Yashara'el to observe this day, that they may keep it holy, and not do thereon any work, and not to defile it, as it is holier than all other days. And whosoever profanes it shall surely die, and whosoever does thereon any work shall surely die eternally, that the children of Yashara'el may observe this day throughout their generations, and not be rooted out of the land. For it is a holy day and a blessed day. And everyone who observes it and guards Shabbat thereon from all his work will be holy and blessed throughout all days like unto us. Declare and say to the children of Yashara'el the Torah of this day, both that they should guard the Shabbat thereon, and that they should not forsake it in the error of their hearts, and that it is against the Torah to do any work thereon which is unseemly, to do thereon their own pleasure, and that they should not prepare thereon anything to be eaten or drunk, and that it is against the Torah to draw water, or bring in or take out thereon through their gates any burden which they had not prepared for themselves on the 6th day in their dwellings. And they shall not bring in nor take out from house to house on that day, for that day is more holy and blessed than any Jubilee day of the Jubilees. On this we kept Shabbat in the heavens, before it was made known to any flesh, to guard the Shabbat thereon on the earth. And the Creator of all things blessed it. But he did not sanctify all peoples and nations to guard the Shabbat thereon, but Yashara'el alone. Them alone he permitted to eat and drink and to guard the Shabbat thereon on the earth. And the Creator of all things blessed this day which he had created for blessing and holiness and glory above all days. This Torah and testimony was given to the children of Yashara'el as a Torah forever unto their generations. Jubilees-THE. And on the 6 days of the second week we brought, according to the word of Elohim, unto Adam all the beasts, and all the cattle, and all the birds, and everything that moves on the earth, and everything that moves in the water, according to their kinds, and according to their types. The beasts on the first day, the cattle on the second day, the birds on the third day, and all that which moves on the earth on the fourth day, and that which moves in the water on the fifth day. And Adam named them all by their respective names, and as he called them, so was their name. And on these 5 days Adam saw all these, male and female, according to every kind that was on the earth. But he was alone and found no helpmeet for him. And Yahuwah said unto us, It is not good that the man should be alone. Let us make a helpmeet for him. And Yahuwah Eloheinu caused a deep sleep to fall upon him, and he slept. And he took for the woman one rib from amongst his ribs. And this rib was the origin of the woman from amongst his ribs. And he built up the flesh in its stead, and built the woman. And he awakened Adam out of his sleep, and on awakening he rose on the 6th day, and he brought her to him, and he knew her, and said unto her, This is now my bone. This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called my woman, because she was taken from her man. Therefore shall man and woman be one, and therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and cleave unto his woman, and they shall be one flesh. In the first week was Adam created, and the rib his woman, in the second week. He showed her unto him, and for this reason the commandment was given to keep in their defilement, for a male 7 days, and for a female twice 7 days. And after Adam had completed 40 days in the land where he had been created, we brought him into the Garden of Eden to till and guard it. But his woman they brought in on the 18th, They brought in on the 80th day. And after this she entered into the Garden of Eden. And for this reason the commandment is written on the heavenly tablets in regard to her that gives birth. If she bears a male, she shall remain in her uncleanness 7 days according to the first week of days, and 33 days shall she remain in the blood of her purifying. And she shall not touch any sanctified thing, nor enter into the sanctuary, until she accomplishes these days. which are enjoined in the case of a male child. But in the case of a female child, she shall remain in her uncleanness 2 weeks of days, according to the first 2 weeks, and 66 days in the blood of her purification. And they will be in all 80 days. And when she had completed these 80 days, we brought her into the Garden of Eden, for it is holier than all the earth besides, and every tree that is planted in it is holy. Therefore there was ordained regarding her who bears a male or a female child the statute of those days, that she should touch no sanctified thing, nor enter into the sanctuary, until these days for the male or female child are accomplished. This is the Torah and testimony which was written down for Yashara'el, in order that they should observe all the days. And in the first week of the first Jubilee, Adam and his woman were in the Garden of Eden for 7 years, tilling and guarding it. And we gave him work, and we instructed him to do everything that is suitable for tillage. And he tilled the garden and was naked and knew it not and was not ashamed. And he protected the garden from the birds and beasts and cattle, and gathered its fruit and ate, and put aside the remnant for himself and for his woman, and put aside that which was being kept. And after the completion of the 7 years, which he had completed there, 7 years exactly, and in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, the serpent came and approached the woman. And the serpent said to the woman, Has Elohim commanded you, saying, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And she said to it, Of all the fruit of the trees of the garden, Elohim has said unto us, Eat. But of the fruit of the tree, which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said unto us, Ye shall not eat thereof, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for Elohim knows that on the day ye shall eat thereof, your eyes will be opened, and ye will be as Elohim, and ye will know good and evil. And the woman saw the tree, that it was agreeable and pleasant to the eye, and that its fruit was good for food, and she took thereof and ate. And when she had first covered her shame with fig leaves, she gave thereof to Adam, and he ate. And his eyes were opened, and he saw that he was naked. And he took fig leaves and sewed them together, and made an apron for himself, and covered his shame. And Elohim cursed the serpent, and was wroth with it forever. And he was wroth with the woman, because she hearkened to the voice of the serpent, and did eat. And he said unto her, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your pains. In sorrow you shall bring forth children, and your return shall be unto your man, and he will rule over you. And to Adam also he said, Because you have hearkened unto the voice of your woman, and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, that you should not eat thereof, cursed be the ground for your sake. Thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to you, and you shall eat your bread in the sweat of your face, till you return to the earth from whence you were taken. For earth you are, and unto earth shall you return. And he made for them coats of skin, and clothed them, and sent them forth from the Garden of Eden. And on the day on which Adam went forth from the garden, he offered as a sweet savor and offering frankincense, galbanum, and stacte, and spices in the morning with the rising of the sun from the day when he covered his shame. And on that day was closed the mouth of all beasts, and of cattle, and of birds, and of whatsoever walks, and of whatsoever moves, so that they could no longer speak. For they had all spoken one with another, with one lip, and with one tongue. And he sent out the Garden of Eden, all flesh that was in the Garden of Eden, and all flesh was scattered according to its kinds, and according to its types, unto the places which had been created for them. And to Adam alone did he give the wherewithal to cover his shame, of all the beasts and cattle. On this account it is prescribed on the heavenly tablets, as touching all those who know the judgment of the Torah, that they should cover their shame, and should not uncover themselves as the other nations uncover themselves. And on the new moon of the 4th month, Adam and his woman went forth from the Garden of Eden, and they dwelt in the land of Eldah, in the land of their creation. And Adam called the name of his woman Kua. And they had no son till the first Jubilee, and after this he knew her. Now he tilled the land as he had done, rather as he had been instructed in the Garden of Eden. Jubilees 4. And in the 3rd week, in the 2nd Jubilee, she gave birth to Cain. And in the 4th, she gave birth to Havael. And in the 5th, she gave birth to her daughter, Awan. And in the 1st year of the 3rd Jubilee, Cain slew Havel, because Elohim accepted the sacrifice of Havel, and did not accept the offering of Cain. And he slew him in the field, and his blood cried from the ground to heaven, complaining because he had slain him. And Yahuwah reproved Cain because of Havel, because he had slain him. And he made him a fugitive on the earth because of the blood of his brother, and he cursed him upon the earth. And on this account it is written on the heavenly tablets, Cursed is he who smites his neighbor treacherously. And let all who have seen and heard say, So be it. And the man who has seen and not declared it, let him be accursed as the other. And for this reason we announce, when we come before Yahuwah Eloheinu, all the sin which is committed in heaven and on earth, and in light and in darkness, and everywhere. And Adam and his woman mourned for Havel 4 weeks of years, and in the 4th year of the 5th week they became joyful. And Adam knew his woman again, and she bore him a son, and he called his name Shet. For he said, Yahuwah has raised up a second seed unto us on the earth instead of Havel. For Cain slew him. And in the 6th week he begat his daughter Azura. And Cain took Awan, his sister, to be his woman. And she bore him Chanach at the close of the 4th Jubilee. And in the 1st year of the 1st week of the 5th Jubilee, houses were built on the earth. And Cain built a city and called its name after the name of his son Chanach. And Adam knew Chua, his woman, and she bore yet 9 sons. And in the 5th week of the 5th Jubilee, Shet took Azurah, his sister, to be his woman. And in the 4th year of the 6th week, she bore him Enosh. He began to call on the name of Yahuwah on the earth. And in the 7th Jubilee, in the 3rd week, Enosh took Noam, his sister, to be his woman, and she bore him a son in the 3rd year of the 5th week. And he called his name Canaan. And at the close of the 8th Jubilee, Canaan took Mu'aleth, his sister, to be his woman, and she bore him a son in the 9th Jubilee. In the 1st week, in the 3rd year of this week, and he called his name Mahalalel. And in the 2nd week of the 10th Jubilee, Mahalalel took unto him to be his woman Dinah, the daughter of Barakil-el, the daughter of his father's brother. And she bore him a son in the 3rd week, in the 6th year. And he called his name Yared, for in his days the angels of Yahuwah descended on the earth, those who are named the Watchers, that they should instruct the children of men, and that they should do judgment and uprightness on the earth. And in the 11th Jubilee, Yared took to himself a woman, and her name was Baraka, the daughter of Rasujal, a daughter of his father's brother, in the 4th week of this Jubilee. And she bore him a son in the 5th week, in the 4th year of the Jubilee. He called his name Chanach. And he was the first among men that are born on earth who learned writing and knowledge and wisdom, and who wrote down the signs of heaven according to the order of their months in a sefer, that men might know the seasons of the years according to the order of their separate months. And he was the first to write a testimony, and he testified to the sons of men among the generations of the earth, and recounted the weeks of the Jubilees, and made known to them the days of the years, and set in order the months, and recounted the Shabbatot of the years as we made them known to him. And what was and what will be, he saw in a vision of his sleep, as it will happen to the children of men throughout their generations until the day of judgment. He saw and understood everything, and wrote his testimony, and placed the testimony on earth for all the children of men and for their generations. And in the 12th Jubilee, in the 7th week thereof, he took to himself a woman, and her name was Edna, the daughter of Daniel, the daughter of his father's brother. And in the 6th year, in this week, she bore him a son, and he called his name Methuselah. He was moreover with the angels of Elohim these 6 jubilees of years. And they showed him everything which is on earth and in the heavens, the rule of the sun. He wrote down everything. He testified to the watchers who had sinned with the daughters of men, for these had begun to unite themselves so as to be defiled with the daughters of men, and and Chanakh testified against them all. And he was taken from amongst the children of men, and we conducted him into the Garden of Eden in majesty and honor. And behold, there he writes down the condemnation and judgment of the world, and all the wickedness of the children of men. And on account of it, Elohim brought the waters of the flood upon all the land of Eden. For there he was set as a sign, and that he should testify against all the children of men, that he should recount all the deeds of the generations until the day of condemnation. And he burnt the incense of the sanctuary, even sweet spices, acceptable before Yahuwah on the mount. For Yahuwah has 4 places on the earth: the Garden of Eden, and the Mount of the East, and this mountain on which you are this day, Mount Sinai, and Mount Sion, which will be sanctified in the new creation for a sanctification of the earth. Through it will the earth be sanctified from all its guilt and its uncleanness throughout the generations of the world. And in the 14th Jubilee, Methuselah took unto himself a woman, Edna, the daughter of Azir-al, the daughter of his father's brother, in the 3rd week, in the 1st year of this week. And he begat a son, and called his name Lamech. And in the 15th Jubilee, in the 3rd week, Lamech took to himself a woman, and her name was Betanos, the daughter of Barachiel, the daughter of his father's brother. And in this week she bore him a son, and he called his name Noach, saying, This one will comfort me for my trouble and all my work, and for the ground which Yahuwah has cursed. And at the close of the 19th Jubilee, in the 7th week, in the 6th year thereof, Adam died, and all his sons buried him in the land of his creation. And he was the first to be buried in the earth. And he lacked 70 years of 1,000 years. For 1,000 years are as one day in the testimony of the heavens, and therefore was it written concerning the tree of knowledge, On the day that ye eat thereof ye shall die. For this reason he did not complete the years of this day, for he died during it. At the close of this Jubilee, Cain was killed after him in the same year, for his house fell upon him, and he died in the midst of his house. And he was killed by its stones, for with a stone he had killed Havel, and by a stone was he killed in righteous judgment. For this reason it was ordained on the heavenly tablets, with the instrument with which a man kills his neighbor, with the same shall he be killed. After the manner that he wounded him, in like manner shall they deal with him. And in the 25th Jubilee, Noach took to himself a woman, and her name was Amzara, the daughter of Erechiel, the daughter of his father's brother, in the 1st year, in the 5th week. And in the 3rd year thereof she bore him Shem. In the 5th year thereof she bore him Cham. And in the 1st year, in the 6th week, she bore him Japheth. Yovelim Jubilees 5. And it came to pass, when the children of men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the angels of Elohim saw them on a certain year of this Jubilee, that they were beautiful to look upon. And they took themselves women of all whom they chose. And they bore unto them sons, and they were Nephilim. And iniquity increased on the earth, and all flesh corrupted its way. Alike men and cattle and beasts and birds and everything that walks on the earth, all of them corrupted their ways and their orders. They began to devour each other, and iniquity increased on the earth. And every imagination of the thoughts of all men was thus evil continually. And Elohim looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, and all flesh had corrupted its orders, and all that were upon the earth had wrought all manner of evil before his eyes. And he said that he would destroy man and all flesh upon the face of the earth which he had created. But Noah found grace before the eyes of Yahuwah, and against the angels whom he had sent upon the earth. He was exceedingly wroth, and he gave commandment to root them out of all their dominion. And he bade us bind them in the depths of the earth. And behold, they are bound in the midst of them, and are kept separate. And against their sons went forth a command from before his face, that they should be smitten with the sword, and be removed from under heaven. And he said, My Ruach shall not always abide on man, for they also are flesh, and their days shall be 120 years. And he sent his sword into their midst, that each should slay his neighbor. And they began to slay each other till they all fell by the sword, and were destroyed from the earth. And their fathers were witnesses of their destruction. And after this they were bound in the depths of the earth forever, until the day of the great condemnation, when judgment is executed on all those who have corrupted their ways and their works before Yahuwah. And he destroyed all from their places, and there was not left one of them whom he judged, not according to all their wickedness. And he made for all his works a new and righteous nature, so that they should not sin in their whole nature forever, but should be all righteous, each in his kind, always. And the judgment of all is ordained and written on the heavenly tablets in righteousness, even the judgment of all who depart from the path which is ordained for them to walk in. And if they walk not therein, judgment is written down for every creature and for every kind. And there is nothing in heaven or on earth, or in light, or in darkness, or in Sheol, or in the depth, or in the place of darkness, which is not judged. And all their judgments are ordained and written and engraved. In regard to all he will judge, the great according to his greatness, and the small according to his smallness, and each according to his way. And he is not one who will regard the person of any, nor is he one who will receive gifts, if he says that he will execute judgment on each. If one gave everything that is on the earth, he will not regard the gifts or the person of any, nor accept anything at his hands, for he is a righteous judge. And of the children of Yashara'el, it has been written and ordained, if they turn to him in righteousness, he will forgive all their transgressions and pardon all their sins. It is written and ordained that he will show mercy to all who turn from all their guilt once each year. And as for all those who corrupted their ways and their thoughts before the flood, no man's person was accepted save that of Noach alone. For his person was accepted in behalf of his sons, whom Elohim saved from the waters of the flood on his account. For his heart was righteous in all his ways, according as it was commanded regarding him, and he had not departed from aught that was ordained for him. And Yahuwah said that he would destroy everything which was upon the earth, both men and cattle and beasts and fowls of the air, and that which moves on the earth. And he commanded Noach to make him an ark, that he might save himself from the waters of the flood. And Noach made the ark in all respects as he commanded him. In the 27th Jubilee of years, in the 5th week, in the 5th year, on the new moon of the 1st month. And he entered in the 6th year thereof, in the 2nd month, on the new moon of the 2nd month, till the 16th. And he entered, and all that we brought to him into the ark, and Yahuwah closed it from without on the 17th evening. And Yahuwah opened 7 floodgates of heaven, and the mouths of the fountains of the great deep, 7 mouths in number. And the floodgates began to pour down water from the heaven 40 days and 40 nights. And the fountains of the deep also sent up waters until the whole world was full of water. And the waters increased upon the earth. 15 cubits did the waters rise above all the high mountains. And the ark was lifted up above the earth. And it moved upon the face of the waters. And the water prevailed on the face of the earth 5 months, 150 days. And the ark went and rested on the top of Lubar, one of the mountains of Ararat. And on the new moon, in the 4th month, the fountains of the great deep were closed, and the floodgates of heaven were restrained. And on the new moon of the 7th month, all the mouths of the abyss of the earth were opened, and the water began to descend into the deep below. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen. And on the new moon of the 1st month, the earth became visible. And the waters disappeared from above the earth in the 5th week, in the 7th year thereof. And on the 17th day in the 2nd month, the earth was dry. And on the 27th thereof, he opened the ark, and sent forth from it beasts, and cattle, and birds, and every moving thing. Jubilees 6. And on the new moon of the 3rd month, he went forth from the ark, and built an altar on that mountain. And he made atonement for the earth, and took a kid, and made atonement by its blood for all the guilt of the earth. For everything that had been on it had been destroyed, save those that were in the ark with Noach. And he placed the fat thereof on the altar. And he took an ox, and a goat, and a sheep, and kids, and salt, and a turtle dove, and the young of a dove, and placed a burnt sacrifice on the altar, and poured thereon an offering mingled with oil, and sprinkled wine, and strewed frankincense over everything, and caused a goodly savor to arise, acceptable before Yahuwah. And Yahuwah smelled the goodly savor, and he cut a covenant with that there should not be any more a flood to destroy the earth. That all the days of the earth, seed time and harvest should never cease. Cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night should not change their order, nor cease forever. And you increase ye and multiply upon the earth, and become many upon it. Be a blessing upon it. The fear of you and the dread of you I will inspire in everything that is on the earth and in the sea. And behold, I have given unto you all beasts, and all winged things, and everything that moves on the earth, and the fish in the waters, and all things for food, as the green herbs. I have given you all things to eat. But flesh, with the life thereof, with the blood, ye shall not eat. For the life of all flesh is in the blood, lest your blood of your lives be required. At the hand of every man, at the hand of every beast, will I require the blood of man. Whoso sheds man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of Elohim made he man. And you increase ye and multiply on the earth. And Noach and his sons swore that they would not eat any blood that was in any flesh. And he cut a covenant before Yahuwah Elohim forever, throughout all the generations of the earth in this month. On this account he spoke to you that you should cut a covenant with the children of Yashara'el in this month upon the mountain with an oath, and that you should sprinkle blood upon them because of all the words of the covenant which Yahuwah cut with them forever. And this testimony is written concerning you, that you should observe it continually, so that you should not eat on any day any blood of beasts or birds or cattle during all the days of the earth. And the man who eats the blood of beast or of cattle or of birds during all the days of the earth, he and his seed shall be rooted out of the land. And do you command the children of Yashara'el to eat no blood, so that their names and their seed may be before Yahuwah Eloheinu continually. And for this Torah there is no limit of days, for it is forever. They shall observe it throughout their generations, so that they may continue supplicating on your behalf with blood before the altar every day, and at the time of morning and evening they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf perpetually before Yahuwah, that they may guard it and not be rooted out. And he gave to Noach and his sons a sign that there should not again be a flood on the earth. He set his bow in the cloud for a sign of the eternal covenant, that there should not again be a flood on the earth to destroy it all the days of the earth. For this reason it is ordained and written on the heavenly tablets, that they should celebrate the feast of Shavuot in this month once a year, to renew the covenant every year. And this whole feast was celebrated in heaven from the day of creation till the day of Noach, 26 jubilees, and 5 weeks of years. And Noah and his sons observed it for 7 jubilees and 1 week of years, till the day of Noah's death. And from the day of Noah's death, his sons did away with it until the days of Abraham, and they ate blood. But Abraham observed it, and Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and his children observed it up to your days. And in your days the children of Yashara'el forgot it, until ye celebrated it anew on this mountain. And do you command the children of Yashara'el to observe this feast in all their generations for a commandment unto them. 1 day in the year in this month they shall celebrate the feast. For it is the feast of Shavuot, and the feast of first fruits of the wheat harvest. This feast is twofold and of a double nature, according to what is written and engraven concerning it. Celebrate it. For I have written in the Sefer of the first Torah, in that which I have written for you, that you should celebrate it in its season, 1 day in the year. And I explained to you its sacrifices, that the children of Yashara'el should remember and should celebrate it throughout their generations in this month, 1 day in every year. And on the new moon of the first month, and on the new moon of the 4th month, and on the new moon of the 7th month, and on the new moon of the 10th month are the days of remembrance, and the days of the seasons in the 4 divisions of the year. These are written and ordained as a testimony forever. And Noah ordained them for himself as feasts for the generations forever, so that they have become thereby a memorial unto him. And on the new moon of the 1st month he was bidden to make for himself an ark. And on that day the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth. And on the new moon of the 4th month, the mouths of the depths of the abyss beneath were closed. And on the new moon of the 7th month, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were opened, and the waters began to descend into them. And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noah was glad. And on this account he ordained them for himself as feasts for a memorial forever. And thus are they ordained. And they placed them on the heavenly tablets. Each had 13 weeks, from one to another, past their memorial, from the 1st to the 2nd, and from the 2nd to the 3rd, and from the 3rd to the 4th. And all the days of the commandment will be 52 weeks of days, and these will make the entire year complete. Thus it is engraven and ordained on the heavenly tablets. And there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year. And command you, the children of Yashara'el, that they observe the years according to this reckoning, 364 days, and these will constitute a complete year. And they will not disturb its time from its days and from its feasts, for everything will fall out in them according to their testimony, and they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feasts. But if they do neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all their seasons, and the years will be dislodged from this order. And they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be dislodged, and they will neglect their ordinances. And all the children of Yashara'el will forget and will not find the path of the years, and will forget the new moons and seasons and Shabbatot, and they will go wrong as to all the order of the years. For I know, and from henceforth will I declare it unto you. And it is not of my own devising, for the Sefer lies written before me, and on the heavenly tablets the division of days is ordained, lest they forget the feasts of the covenant, and walk according to the feasts of the other nations, after their error and after their ignorance. For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon, how it disturbs the seasons, and comes in from year to year 10 days too soon. For this reason, the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order, and make an abominable day the day of testimony, and an unclean day a feast day, and they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean, and the unclean with the holy, for they will go wrong as to the months and Shabbatot and feasts and jubilees. For this reason I command and testify to you, that you may testify to them. For after your death, your children will disturb them, so that they will not make the year 364 days only. And for this reason, they will go wrong as to the new moons and seasons and Shabbatot and feasts, and they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. Jubilees 7. And in the 7th week, in the 1st year thereof, in this Jubilee, Noach planted vines on the mountain on which the ark had rested, named Lubar, one of the Ararat mountains, and they produced fruit in the 4th year. And he did guard their fruit, and gathered it in this year in the 7th month. And he made wine therefrom, and put it into a vessel, and kept it until the 5th year, until the 1st day, on the new moon of the 1st month. And he celebrated with joy the day of this feast, and he made a burnt sacrifice unto Yahuwah, 1 young ox and 1 ram, and 7 sheep, each a year old, and a kid of the goats, that he might make atonement thereby for himself and his sons. And he prepared the kid first, and placed some of its blood on the flesh that was on the altar which he had made, and all the fat he laid on the altar where he made the burnt sacrifice, and the ox and the ram and the sheep, and he laid all their flesh upon the altar. And he placed all their offerings mingled with oil upon it, and afterwards he sprinkled wine on the fire which he had previously made on the altar, and he placed incense on the altar, and caused a sweet savor to ascend acceptable before Yahuwah Eloheu. And he rejoiced and drank of this wine, he and his children, with joy. And it was evening, and he went into his tent, and being drunken, he lay down and slept, and was uncovered in his tent as he slept. And Ham saw Noah, his father, naked, and went forth and told his two brethren without. And Shem took his garment and arose, he and Japheth, and they placed the garment on their shoulders, and went backward and covered the shame of their father, and their faces were backward. And Noah arose from his sleep, and knew all that his younger son had done unto him. And he cursed his son, and said, Cursed be Canaan, an enslaved servant shall he be unto his brethren. And he blessed Shem, and said, Blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. Elohim shall enlarge Japheth, and Elohim shall dwell in the dwelling of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. And Ham knew that his father had cursed his younger son, and he was displeased that he had cursed his son. And he parted from his father, he and his sons with him, Cush and Mitzrayim, and Put and Canaan. And he built for himself a city, and called its name after the name of his woman, Ne'elat Tama'uk. And Japheth saw it, and became envious of his brother, and he too built for himself a city, and he called its name after the name of his woman, Adatan Eses. Adatan Eses. And Shem dwelt with his father Noah, and he built a city close to his father on the mountain, and he too called its name after the name of his woman, Sedek-Hetel-Vav. And behold, these three cities are near Mount Lubar. Sedek-Hetel-Vav, fronting the mountain on its east, and Na'el Tama'uk on the south. Adatan Eses towards the west. And these are the sons of Shem, Elam, and Ashur, and Arpachshad. This son was born 2 years after the flood, and Ludi, and Aram. The sons of Japheth, Gimmer, and Magog, and Madai, and Yavan, Tubal, and Meshech, and Thyrak. These are the sons of Noah. And in the 28th Jubilee, Noah began to enjoin upon his sons' sons the ordinances and commandments, and all the judgments that he knew, and he exhorted his sons to observe righteousness, and to cover the shame of their flesh, and to bless their Creator, and honor father and mother, and love their neighbor, and guard their souls from fornication and uncleanness and all iniquity. For owing to these three things came the flood upon the earth, namely, owing to the fornication wherewith the watchers against the Torah of their ordinances went a whoring after the daughters of men, and took themselves women of all which they chose. And they made the beginning of uncleanness. And they begat sons, the Nephilim, and they were all unlike, and they devoured one another. And the giants slew the Nephil, and the Nephil slew the Elyo, and the Elyo mankind. and one man another. And everyone sold himself to work iniquity and to shed much blood, and the earth was filled with iniquity. And after this they sinned against the beasts and birds and all that move and walks on the earth, and much blood was shed on the earth. And every imagination and desire of men imagined vanity and evil continually. And Yahuwah destroyed everything from off the face of the earth, because of the wickedness of their deeds, and because of the blood which they had shed in the midst of the earth. He destroyed everything. And we were left, I and you, my sons, and everything that entered with us into the ark. And behold, I see your works before me, that ye do not walk in righteousness. For in the path of destruction ye have begun to walk. And ye are parting one from another, and are envious one of another. And so it comes that ye are not in harmony, my sons, each with his brother. For I see and behold, the devils have begun their seductions against you and against your children. And now I fear on your behalf, that after my death ye will shed the blood of men upon the earth, and that ye too will be destroyed from the face of the earth. For whoso sheds man's blood, and whoso eats the blood of any flesh, shall all be destroyed from the earth. And there shall not be left any man that eats blood, or that sheds the blood of man on the earth, nor shall there be left to him any seed or descendants living under heaven. For into Sheol shall they go, and into the place of condemnation shall they descend, and into the darkness of the deep shall they all be removed by a violent death. There shall be no blood seen upon you. Of all the blood there shall be all the days in which ye have killed any beasts or cattle, or whatsoever flies upon the earth. And work ye a good work to your souls, by covering that which has been shed on the face of the earth. And ye shall not be like him who eats with blood, but guard yourselves, that none may eat blood before you. Cover the blood, for thus have I been commanded to testify to you and your children, together with all flesh. And suffer not the soul to be eaten with the flesh, that your blood, which is your life, may not be required at the hand of any flesh that sheds it on the earth. For the earth will not be clean from the blood which has been shed upon it. For only through the blood of him that shed it will the earth be purified throughout all its generations. And now, my children, hearken, work judgment and righteousness, that ye may be planted in righteousness over the face of the whole earth, and your glory lifted up before my Elohim, who saved me from the waters of the flood. And behold, ye will go and build for yourselves cities, and plant in them all the plants that are upon the earth, and moreover all fruit-bearing trees. For 3 years the fruit of everything that is eaten will not be gathered. And in the 4th year its fruit will be accounted holy, and they will offer the first fruits, acceptable before El Elyon, who created heaven and earth and all things. Let them offer in abundance the first of the wine and oil as first fruits on the altar of Yahuwah, who receives it. And what is left, let the servants of the house of Yahuwah Eat before the altar which receives it. And in the 5th year, make ye the release, so that ye release it in righteousness and uprightness, and ye shall be righteous, and all that you plant shall prosper. For thus did Hanak, the father of your father, command Methuselah, his son, and Methuselah, his son Lamech. And Lamech commanded me all the things which his fathers commanded him. And I also will give you commandment, my sons, as Hanak commanded his son in the first Jubilees, while still living, the 7th in his generation. He commanded and testified to his son and to his son's son until the day of his death. Yoelim, Jubilees 8. In the 29th Jubilee, in the 1st week, in the beginning thereof, Arpachshad took to himself a woman, and her name was Rashu'eah, the daughter of Shushan, the daughter of Elam. And she bore him a son in the 3rd year in this week. And he called his name Canaan. And the son grew, and his father taught him writing, and he went to seek for himself a place where he might seize for himself a city. And he found a writing which former generations had carved on the rock. And he read what was thereon, and he transcribed it, and sinned owing to it. For it contained the teaching of the watchers, in accordance with which they used to observe the omens of the sun and moon and stars in all the signs of heaven. And he wrote it down and said nothing regarding it, for he was afraid to speak to Noach about it, lest he should be angry with him on account of it. And in the 30th Jubilee, in the 2nd week, in the 1st year thereof, he took to himself a woman, and her name was Melka, the daughter of Madai, the son of Japheth. And in the 4th year he begat a son, and called his name Shalach, for he said, Truly I have been sent. And in the 4th year he was born. And Shalach grew up and took to himself a woman, and her name was Muach, the daughter of Kesed, his father's brother, in the 31st Jubilee, in the 5th week, in the 1st year thereof. And she bore him a son in the 5th year thereof, and he called his name Eber. And he took unto himself a woman, and her name was Azarad, the daughter of Nibrad, in the 32nd Jubilee, in the 7th week, in the 3rd year thereof. And in the 6th year thereof she bore him a son, and he called his name Peleg. For in the days when he was born, the children of Noach began to divide the earth amongst themselves. For this reason he called his name Peleg. And they divided it secretly among themselves, and told it to Noach. And it came to pass in the beginning of the 33rd Jubilee that they divided the earth into 3 parts, for Shem and Ham and Japheth, according to the inheritance of each. in the first year, in the first week, when one of us who had been sent was with them. And he called his sons, and they drew nigh to him, they and their children, and he divided the earth into the lots, which his 3 sons were to take in possession. And they reached forth their hands, and took the writing out of the bosom of Noach, their father. And there came forth on the writing as Shem's lot, the middle of the earth, which he should take as an inheritance for himself, and for his sons, for the generations of eternity. From the middle of the mountain range of Rapha, from the mouth of the water, from the river Tina, and his portion goes towards the west through the midst of this river, and it extends till it reaches the water of the abysses, out of which this river goes forth, and pours its waters into the sea Meat. And this river flows into the great sea. And all that is towards the north is Japheth's, and all that is towards the Negev belongs to Shem. And it extends till it reaches Karaso. This is in the bosom of the tongue which looks towards the Negev. And his portion extends along the great sea, and it extends into a straight line, till it reaches the west of the tongue which looks towards the Negev. For this sea is named the tongue of the Mitzri Sea. And it turns from here towards the Negev, towards the mouth of the great sea, on the shore of its waters, and it extends to the west to Afra, and it extends till it reaches the waters of the river Gihon, and to the south of the waters of Gihon, to the banks of this river. And it extends towards the east till it reaches the Garden of Eden, to the south thereof, to the south and from the east of the whole land of Eden, and of the whole east. It turns to the east and proceeds till it reaches the east of the mountains, named Rapha. And it descends to the bank of the mouth of the river Tina. This portion came forth by lot for Shem and his sons, that they should possess it forever, unto his generations forevermore. And Noach rejoiced that this portion came forth for Shem and for his sons. And he remembered all that he had spoken with his mouth in prophecy. For he had said, Blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of Shem, and may Yahuwah dwell in the dwelling of Shem. And he knew that the Garden of Eden is the Holy of Holies, and the dwelling of Yahuwah, and Mount Sinai, the center of the desert, and Mount Zion, the center of the navel of the earth. These 3 were created as holy places facing each other. And he blessed the Elohim of Elohim, who had put the word of Yahuwah into his mouth, and Yahuwah forevermore. And he knew that a blessed portion and a blessing had come to Shem and his sons unto the generations forever. The whole land of Eden, and the whole land of the Red Sea, and the whole land of the east, and India, and on the Red Sea, and the mountains thereof, and all the land of Bashan, and all the land of Lebanon, and the islands of Qatar, and all the mountains of Sinir, and Amanah, and the mountains of Ashur in the north, and all the land of Elam, Ashur, and Babel, and Shushan, and Madai, and all the mountains of Ararat, and all the region beyond the sea, which is beyond the mountains of Ashur towards the north, a blessed and spacious land, and all that is in it is very good. And for Ham came forth the second portion, beyond the Gichon, towards the south, to the right of the garden. And it extends towards the south, and it extends to all the mountains of fire, and it extends towards the west to the sea of Atel, and it extends towards the west till it reaches the sea of Mauk, that sea into which everything which is not destroyed descends. And it goes forth towards the north to the limits of Gadir, and it goes forth to the coast of the waters of the sea, to the waters of the great sea, till it draws near to the river Gichon, and goes along the river Gichon till it reaches the right of the Garden of Eden. And this is the land which came forth for Ham, as the portion which he was to occupy forever for himself and his sons unto their generations forever. And for Japheth came forth the third portion beyond the river Tina to the north of the outflow of its waters. And it extends north, easterly, to the whole region of Gog, and to all the country east thereof. And it extends northerly to the north, and it extends to the mountains of Kelt towards the north, and towards the sea of Ma'uk, and it goes forth to the east of Gadir, as far as the region of the waters of the sea. And it extends until it approaches the west of Farah, and it returns towards Aphrag, and it extends easterly to the waters of the Sea of Meat, and it extends to the region of the river Tina in a northeasterly direction until it approaches the boundaries of its waters towards the mountain Rapha, and it turns round towards the north. This is the land which came forth for Japheth and his sons as the portion of his inheritance, which he should possess for himself and his sons, for their generations forever. 5 great islands, and a great land in the north. But it is cold, and the land of Ham is hot, and the land of Shem is neither hot nor cold, but it is of blended cold and heat. Yovalim, Jubilees 9. And Ham divided amongst his sons, and the first portion came forth for Cush towards the east, and to the west of him for Mitzrayim, and to the west of him for Put, and to the west of him and to the west thereof on the sea for Canaan. And Shem also divided amongst his sons, and the first portion came forth for Elam and his sons to the east of the river Chiddekel, till it approaches the east, the whole land of India, and on the Red Sea on its coast, and the waters of Dedan, and all the mountains of Mebri and Elam, and all the land of Shushan, and all that is on the side of Farnak, to the Red Sea and the river Tina. And for Ashur came forth the second portion, all the land of Ashur, and Nineveh, and Shinar, and to the border of India, and it ascends and skirts the river. And for Arpachshad came forth the third portion, all the land of the region of the Kasdim, to the east of Parath, bordering on the Red Sea, and all the waters of the desert, close to the tongue of the sea, which looks towards Mitzrayim, all the land of Lebanon, and Sinir, and Amanah, to the border of the Parath. And for the Aram there came forth the fourth portion of all the land of Aram, Naharaim, between the Chikadel and the Parath, to the north of the Kasdim, to the border of the mountains of Ashur, and the land of Ararat. And there came forth for Ludi the fifth portion, the mountains of Ashur, and all pertaining to them, till it reaches the great sea, and till it reaches the east of Ashur, his brother. And Japheth also divided the land of his inheritance among his sons. And the first portion came forth for Gimer, to the east from the north side to the river Tina. And in the north there came forth for Magog all the inner portions of the north, until it reaches the sea of Miat. And for Madai came forth as his portion, that he should possess from the west of his two brothers to the islands, and to the coasts of the islands. And for Yavan came forth the fourth portion, every island and the islands which are towards the border of Ludi. And for Tubal there came forth the fifth portion in the midst of the tongue, which approaches towards the border of the portion of Ludi, to the second tongue, and to the region beyond the second tongue, unto the third tongue. And for Meshech came forth the sixth portion, and all the region beyond the third tongue, till it approaches the east of Gadir. And for Thyrak there came forth the seventh portion, 4 great islands in the midst of the sea, which reach to the portion of Ham, and the islands of Kamaturi came out by lot for the sons of Arpachshad as his inheritance. And thus the sons of Noach divided unto their sons in the presence of Noach their father, and he bound them all by an oath, imprecating a curse on everyone that sought to seize the portion which had not fallen to him by his lot. And they all said, So be it. So be it for themselves and their sons forever, throughout their generations, till the day of judgment, on which Yahuwah, Elohim, shall judge them with a sword and with fire, for all the unclean wickedness of their errors, wherewith they have filled the earth with transgression and uncleanness and fornication and sin. Yovelim, Jubilees 10. And in the 3rd week of this Jubilee, the unclean devils began to lead astray the children of the sons of Noach, to make to err and destroy them. And the sons of Noach came to Noach their father. They told him concerning the devils which were leading astray, and blinding and slaying his sons' sons. And he prayed before Yahuwah, Eloheu, and said, Elohim of the Ruach Hat, of all flesh, who has shown mercy unto me, and has saved me and my sons from the waters of the flood, and has not caused me to perish, as you did the sons of perdition. For your grace has been great towards me, and great has been your mercy to my soul. Let your grace be lift up upon my sons, and let not wicked Ruachat rule over them, lest they should destroy them from the earth. But do you bless me and my sons, that we may increase and multiply and replenish the earth. And you know how your watchers, the fathers of these Ruachat, acted in my day. And as for these Ruachat, which are living, imprison them and hold them fast in the place of condemnation. And let them not bring destruction on the sons of your servant, my Elohim. For these are malignant and created in order to destroy. And let them not rule over the Ruachat of the living. For you alone can exercise dominion over them. And let them not have power over the sons of the righteous, from henceforth and forevermore. And Yahuwah Eloheinu bade us to bind all. And the chief of the Ruachat, Matstema, came and said, Yahuwah, Creator, let some of them remain before me, and let them hearken to my voice, and do all that I shall say unto them. For if some of them are not left to me, I shall not be able to execute the power of my will on the sons of men. For these are for corruption and leading astray before my judgment. For great is the wickedness of the sons of men. And he said, let the 10th part of them remain before him. And let 9 parts descend into the place of condemnation. And one of us he commanded that we should teach Noach all their medicines, for he knew that they would not walk in uprightness, nor strive in righteousness. And we did according to all his words. All the malignant evil ones we bound in the place of condemnation, and a 10th part of them we left, that they might be subject before Satan on the earth. And we explained to Noach all the medicines of their diseases, together with their seductions, how he might heal them with herbs of the earth. And Noach wrote down all the things in a sefer, as we instructed him, concerning every kind of medicine. Thus the evil Ruachat were precluded from hurting the sons of Noach. And he gave all that he had written to Shem, his eldest son, for he loved him exceedingly above all his sons. And Noach slept with his fathers and was buried on Mount Lubar in the land of Ararat. 950 years he completed in his life. 19 jubilees and 2 weeks and 5 years. And in his life on earth he excelled the children of men, save Chanach, because of the righteousness wherein he was perfect. For Chanach's office was ordained for a testimony to the generations of the world, so that he should recount all the deeds of generation unto generation till the day of judgment. And in the 33rd Jubilee, in the first year, in the second week, Peleg took to himself a woman whose name was Lamna, the daughter of Sinai. She bore him a son in the 4th year of this week, and he called his name Reu, for he said, "Behold, children of men have become evil through the wicked purpose of building for themselves a city and a tower in the land of Shinar. For they departed from the land of Ararat eastward to Shinar. For in his days they built the city and the tower, saying, Go to, let us ascend thereby into heaven. And they began to build. And in the 4th week they made brick with fire, and the bricks served them for stone, and the clay with which they cemented them together was asphalt, which comes out of the sea, and out of the fountains of water in the land of Shinar. And they built it. 43 years were they building it. Its breadth was 203 bricks, and the height of a brick was the third of one. Its height amounted to 5,430 and 3 cubits and 2 palms. And the extent of one wall was 13 stades, and of the other 30 stades. And Yahuwah Eloheinu said unto us, Behold, they are one people, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be withheld from them. Go to, let us go down and confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. And they may be dispersed into cities and nations, and one purpose will no longer abide with them till the day of judgment. And Yahuwah descended, and we descended with him to see the city and the tower which the children of men had built. And he confounded their language, and they no longer understood one another's speech. And they ceased then to build the city and the tower. For this reason the whole land of Shinar is called Babel, because Yahuwah did there confound all the language of the children of men. And from thence they were dispersed into their cities, each according to his language and his nation. And Yahuwah sent a mighty wind against the tower, and overthrew it upon the earth. And behold, it was between Ashur and Babel in the land of Shinar, and they called its name Overthrow. In the 4th week, in the 1st year, in the beginning thereof, in the 34th Jubilee, were they dispersed from the land of Shinar. And Ham and his sons went into the land which he was to occupy, which he acquired as his portion in the land of the south. And Canaan saw the land of Lebanon to the river of Mitzrayim, that it was very good. And he went not into the land of his inheritance, to the west, that is to the sea. And he dwelt in the land of Lebanon, eastward and westward from the border of the Yarden, and from the border of the sea. And Ham his father, and Cush, and Mitzrayim his brothers, said unto him, You have settled in a land which is not yours, and which did not fall to us by lot. Do not do so, for if you do so, you and your sons will fall in the land and be accursed through sedition. For by sedition ye have settled. and by sedition will your children fall, and you shall be rooted out forever. Dwell not in the land of Shem, for to Shem and to his sons did it come by their lot. Cursed are you, and cursed shall you be, beyond all the sons of Noach, by the curse by which we bound ourselves by an oath, in the presence of the holy judge, and in the presence of Noach our father. But he did not hearken unto them, and dwelt in the land of Lebanon from Chamat to the entering of Mitzrayim, he and his sons until this day. And for this reason that land is named Canaan. And Japheth and his sons went towards the sea, and dwelt in the land of their portion. And Madai saw the land of the sea, and it did not please him. And he begged a portion from Elam, and Ashur, and Arpachshad, his woman's brother. And he dwelt in the land of Madai, near to his woman's brother, until this day. He called his dwelling place, and the dwelling place of his sons, Madai, after the name of their father, Madai.